Welcome back to Chatooine, everyone. I'm your host, Star Wars Only, joined with Darth Daddy Lunga and the Goldman. Here on Chatooine, we will talk about the Star Wars news, topics in the fandom, and simply chat about Star Wars. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the live chat or send us a super chat question so you can be guaranteed an answer to your question before the show is over. We also have mods in our chat now, so that's kind of something new to change. Lunga, Goldman, how have you guys been? COVID's been kind of interesting over the past month. Things seem to be opening up a little bit. I know Lunga just saw a movie tonight, and I went to go see Empire Strikes Back in theaters last night. So it's kind of nice to get that familiarity back. It's a little bit.
How was it? How was seeing it in theaters?
It was really cool. The bitter old man in me came out when because like you're not supposed to have like people in front of you, beside you, or behind you, and like these four like teenage or maybe even 20-year-old white chicks like just sat right in front of us and got on their phones like,
get off my lawn.
That would trigger me.
Yeah, I was a little bit annoyed by that, and so was my girlfriend, but she was sweet enough and nice enough to like plan this out ahead, and it was really cool seeing Empire in theaters. I'll probably make a video about it because it's a lifelong childhood dream come true. And it was, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like you watch it at home, even if you can watch it in 4K, it's really cool. But seeing it in theaters is definitely something I will never forget. It was truly one of the best Star Wars experiences I had, even though it was during COVID. I mean, you're not allowed to get a refill on your popcorn, not allowed to get a refill on your drink. You can't even get your own drink. Someone else has to do it. So it's very different and unique. But I'm just glad to go back to the theaters. I can't wait to start doing that a little bit normally. Longo, what was it like going to see New Mutants tonight in that kind of sense?
I mean, I streamed like a couple minutes of it. The theater I go to here, it's like one of the bigger ones around Chicago, and it's 2 floors, huge theater. And there was like nobody there. There was nobody there. I think it was like 10 people total I saw scattered. You know, there was only 2 other people in our theater watching New Mutants with us. And now there was restrictions or supposedly this or that, but the machines were wide open. We could like go get pop if we wanted to. We could go do this. You know, I mean, if guy had a mask on or whatever. But the theater was so empty, which is kind of surreal because it's just a big theater. It was so empty. It's like, hey, walk around, do what we want. You know
is it like 1 out of every 5 seats is 4 out of every 5 seats is closed off? Is that how like
there was nothing blocking seats in our theater.
Yeah, you can pick whatever you want, I think.
There was 4 people in there. There was me and my daughter and 2 other people. That's it, watching New Mutants. Now, I'm thinking the way, again, this is just a guess, but I go to AMC. That's where I always go. It's an AMC theater. You know, an AMC theater, you can pick your seats and everything when you buy them through AMC. So I'm thinking what AMC is doing is at least for people who are buying them, if someone buys, like, say, these 2 seats here, they will not allow the pellet seat. The seats will be able to be purchased, at least online. And then I think they're hoping people will self-regulate if they're buying tickets, you know, and just coming in and not sitting next to each other.
Well, I'm hoping theaters kind of get back to normal a little bit more, at least over here in Orlando before December is over. I think a lot of us are interested in seeing Tenet, which has had a lot of kind of news surrounding it, which is interesting. And the DC Fandom was a big event this past week with the Zack Snyder stuff. But this past week for Star Wars, there's been a lot of interesting news. The president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, spoke about the future of the Star Wars franchise. Another holiday special was confirmed. Can't wait for that one. A new single-player trailer for EA Star Wars Squadrons was released yesterday. And finally, yesterday at Gamescom, we got to see a gameplay trailer for Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, all that and more here on Chatooine. But first, let's get into the big news of the week. The Lego Star Wars trailer. After watching and after waiting for months of news on that, we finally got to see a trailer at Gamescom yesterday, and it seemed to be gaining a lot of popularity. Longa, I'm going to give this first question to you. What did you think about the new Lego Star Wars trailer?
Can I answer this with a question?
By all means.
This is the big news.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's big to me.
It is me as well.
I did not watch the Lego Star Wars trailer. That's what I think about this Lego Star Wars trailer. I'm not into the Lego games. I mean, I like some of the Lego movies. They're cute. I love Lego Batman. That was funny. The Lego movie was cute. I don't play the Lego games. So I did not watch the trailer for it. It's like it's really? Star Wars and they're Lego. Okay. What is there anything new here that I don't know about?
It looks a lot more interesting to me than the original ones. Did you play the original one? Like the first one was the prequels, the second one was the original trilogy, and then I think the third one was the complete saga, and those came out 15 years ago or something now.
They did a Clone Wars one too, and one for The Force Awakens, I believe.
I played The Force Awakens, did not play the Clone Wars one. I think I played a little bit of it a few years ago, and I did not like it at all. The game mechanics were not what I was interested in at all. There's no replayability to it for me. But The Force Awakens one was semi-interesting.
Am I in Bizarro world here? You're talking about game mechanics of a Lego game?
Yes, the games
are Lego. They're blocks.
Not complex. No. There's some new cool things you can do. They evolve. They build on the previous Lego games.
Yeah, that Minecraft game, man. The mechanics of it were just that axe didn't swing right for me. That pick, when I was breaking those blocks.
Yeah, you have a good point, but there definitely is. I don't know. It's something like the simple stuff, like the Mike Tyson knockout game back in the 90s. Like the mechanics of that game still hold up to this day, where it's still fun. Something about I don't even know how to explain it. There's something about the new Lego one that came out for The Force Awakens I just was not into. So I guess since Lunga's not really into the Lego game, I got to ask you, Goldman, do you think this Lego game can be a little bit more iconic than the other two that came out many, many years ago? Because those other two have held up to this day.
I don't think it'll be as iconic as the complete saga one. That's a very iconic game. Like I've spoken to people who haven't even watched Star Wars, like any of the movies, and they tell me how they've played the game. And I have some other friends that would say that they played the complete saga game and then they watched the movies. So like their first Star Wars memory is the complete saga. So that game is like all time iconic for people our age. Maybe not so much for Lunga, but for people our age, it is very iconic. I would love this game to be as iconic as the original, but I don't think it will be more iconic. But it doesn't mean I'm any less excited. I'm probably more excited for this game than I should be. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the nostalgia I have for the original game. Maybe just because I don't know. Star Wars makes me a kid, and I just like these kinds of games. Maybe that's why I'm so excited, but I just really am looking forward to this game.
I did get Legos for my birthday, though. My daughter bought me, they have the child Lego set to build the Baby Yoda. A little Mandalorian. They look like the pop dolls, but they're Legos. So put them together. And she got me the little
this one?
Yes, that's that exactly. That's the one. She got me that. And she put it together for me while I was away on vacation. She built it, and she got me the Revenge of the Sith scene when they're on top of the little droids fighting over the lava pit with Anakin. Cool. And so she got me that. So I did get Legos for my birthday. I got those.
It seems to be a big staple of the franchise. I know there's a popular trend going on, I think, about this past year, where there's a lot of husbands who have been asking their wives if they can get that $500 Millennium Falcon set thing. And what's this one?
It's a Han Solo Lego.
Han Solo?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
It's Han Solo. Shut up. It's Han Solo, dude. It's Han Solo.
It's young Han Solo. That's why. Okay.
I had two doctors too, but he fell and broke into a million pieces, and I haven't found them all yet. So.
Well, one of the things they did talk about in this reveal yesterday is that there is going to be a deluxe edition with character packs, and apparently the character packs are going to include something like characters from, what was it, the Rogue One movie, Solo, Mandalorian, Bad Batch, even, and I assume the other two would be the Rebels, Clone Wars Rebels. So, Goldman, since you seem a little bit more interested in this game, what do you think about the deluxe edition of this game and the character packs that it includes?
I believe that I know there's going to be DLC, and I think the DLCs are going to be the other shows and movies. I think that's what they're doing. You could be right about the character packs. I have no problem with that. It's not like a pay to win type thing. I mean, if you want to pay $10 extra just to play as some different minifigures in the game, that's fine. I'm not sure if they said the DLC is going to be paid or not. I'll probably get it anyway, but I would understand if that frustrates people that don't want to pay for DLC. But I don't mind deluxe editions that much as long as what's included in the deluxe edition isn't essential to the enjoyment of the game, which in this case, I don't think it is, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, I'll probably get the deluxe edition myself. One thing that I found a little bit interesting and that I think is something I probably won't spend too much time on today, but something we can probably talk about next week or the week after is that apparently this game it has been delayed to spring of 2021, and there's some thoughts out there that since the Bad Batch series is going to be a part of the DLC, that the Bad Batch will actually debut in spring of 2021. Because like how they kind of like to cross promote certain titles and everything. I think that'd be a great way to do it. So I think for some people, there's some speculation, and hopefully it would be confirmation within the next few months that in spring of 2021 we'll get the animated Bad Batch series. But I'll give this to you, Lunga, as well. What do you think about the game being delayed to 2021? Because it was supposed to come out on October 2nd of this year, and or not October 20th of this year, and it's been delayed till 2021. You have any opinions on that, man?
No, I'm all hype about Squadrons, so I really don't care. I get Squadrons in October. That's going to keep me satisfied for a while, so I'm happy with that. And as everything we've seen, it looks pretty damn cool. So I'm I'm not too worried about anything else being delayed. I mean, everything's being delayed. It's not like it's just it's kind of par for the course at this point.
That's a good point. So someone has to bring up a little bit about the childhood. We all know Lego is really iconic for our childhood. Apparently, for Charlie Spur, StarWarsOnly raped my childhood. # me too. I'm glad to, in some sense, be equated to George Lucas, even though I didn't want to be equated in that sense. But hey, I'll take what I can get. Goldman, what do you think about, because this is kind of relevant to Squadrons as well. Do you think it's a good idea to actually release this game in 2021, since Squadrons is also releasing in 2020, and it was originally supposed to release 2 weeks before Lego Star Wars? Do you think in the sense of sales and kind of giving fans enough time to play Squadrons compared to Lego, do you think it's a good idea to actually delay it and give them time to breathe?
I would say so. Because with Star Wars, there's not that much going on right now. Like, we have Squadrons, The Mandalorian, the Lego Star Wars game, and the other shows. We don't know when the other shows are coming out, so it's probably a smarter idea to spread it out a little. As much as I would have loved the Skywalker Saga to come out this October, it's probably the smarter thing to delay it. And also, tying back into what you said about the Bad Batch, even if the Bad Batch doesn't come out in the spring and say it's in the fall or the winter, what they could do is with the DLCs, they could be like one DLC every month for the future after the game is released. So it's kind of has like a longer lifespan. Because an example like Fallen Order, it came out, like it was very popular for a month or so, and then it kind of fades away. With games that have DLCs, they kind of are more relevant for a little longer. So with a game like this, if they release a DLC, because there's going to be 6 DLCs, so if they release one every month or every 2 months afterwards, then the game's going to be relevant for much longer. And then they could market it with the Bad Batch as well. So, yeah, I think it's probably a good business decision, even though I would have loved for it to come out in October because I want to play it like right now. But,
yeah, I think there's a lot of hype behind the Lego Star Wars game, and I would kind of argue a little bit more for that game than Squadrons. And this super chat by Brandon Bellman, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This literally just came through. Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Oh dear.
Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman
passed away.
Colon cancer.
No way.
No, I swear to God, it's in the Washington Post. It's all over the internet right now.
Jesus. Did
Wow.
they say how?
Cancer, colon cancer. Apparently, he's had colon cancer the last 4 years.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Damn. Yeah, it's on Variety. It's on Star Wars, but that's a very important thing. Wow.
I can't.
That was a big deal.
Dude, he was Jackie Robinson in 42. He was wow. I can't believe he had that and never would have known. That poor guy, man. Condolences to his family.
Only 43.
Yeah, it's young. I mean, that's young to geez. That'll definitely be a big topic for the next week or so. And an awful thing for
It's terrible.
geez, yeah. I mean, what they just announced Black Panther, the sequel as well recently. I don't even know if they'd even started filming that. I
think so.
Wow, God, poor guy. Great guy too, man. Damn. Wish I had some.
Yeah, sorry if I get real.
Oh no, that's fine, man. That's big news. Yeah,
to mention.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
I feel bad. Geez. I wonder what Disney will say about it, and I wonder what they'll even talk about it, like how long he's been dealing with this, apparently, because it says on the Associated Press it was a 4-year fight with colon cancer.
Wow.
Don't know how many more details we'll get. We'll probably get more about that within the next week or two. Jesus, poor guy, man. Great actor too. Well, to make it not as depressing, and condolences to his family, Chadwick Boseman, him. This question's good about what's excited more for Lego Star Wars or the Squadrons game. I did a poll on my Instagram today, or not my Instagram, the YouTube tab, and 1,000 people voted, and 80% of them voted on the Lego Star Wars game, saying there's more hype and they're more excited about that. So, Goldman, I'll give this to you. What does this new Lego game, or why does this new Lego game seem to have a lot more hype behind it than Squadrons?
I think this says more about Squadrons than it does the Lego game, because the Lego game, includes the main films. It's kind of a continuation off of the beloved The Complete Saga game. And Squadrons, I don't think, is just a game that has many people's interest. Like, it's a flying game. It's a flight simulator game. And even with the story, like, many people don't seem that interested in the story because it takes place right after Return of the Jedi, and there's not that much that takes place like canonically after in the story. So I don't think the story is interesting to that many people. And same thing with the flying. Like in Battlefront 2, it was the least popular mode, and that's the only flying we've gotten in Star Wars video games for a while. So I think that's why I just don't think it has the excitement of many people. I hope it's a great game. I just don't think it has that appeal to everyone, like something that Lego Star Wars does, which is what you're getting. You're getting the main films, the characters, you're getting some of these DLCs. So I just think it says more about Squadrons that just doesn't have as much as appeal as, say, Lego Star Wars. And also, Lego Star Wars is pretty memed, and if something's memed, it becomes really popular. Yeah. So, and I think that plays into Lego Star Wars' favor.
I agree. I think since Squadrons is kind of a niche thing for the flight simulator and an aspect of that, and kind of would appeal a lot more to the Battlefront 2 community, I think since Lego Star Wars is more family friendly, it probably appeals to a larger audience. But that's a good segue into the next topic that I know Lunga is extremely excited for. Another thing that they revealed yesterday was the trailer for the single-player game, or single-player aspect of Star Wars Squadrons. And not much of anything was revealed, but you did get a better look at the game in VR, which I think is pretty exciting. So I have to ask this to you, Lunga. Which side are you more excited to play, and probably going to play in the single player? Are you going to play for the Empire or the New Republic?
You always want to play the heroes, right? But God, man, flying TIE fighters is just it's so tempting. I can't,
I'm more of an X-Wing guy.
Oh no, man! I want to. The X-wing. It's like not that. I love the X-wings. Don't get me wrong. And even that, I probably wouldn't fly the X-wing. I probably do fly an A-wing or something like that. But they are exciting. But the TIE fighters, they always just captured my imagination so much more than the X-wings, and not necessarily just the standard TIE fighter, but like the TIE interceptors. They're just so cool looking. It's like I really want to fly that. I don't know what. I'm assuming I can do both at some point. So. I'll probably try them all, but I'll probably start off with being the Empire first.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can play both sides either way in the story mode, and I'm assuming you can kind of pick which side you'd want to play as more when it comes to the multiplayer. We'll have to find out a little bit more as the game is released. Goldman, I got to ask you, how do you feel about Star Wars Squadrons right now after all the information that we got the other day?
I wouldn't say I'm excited, but that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm gonna get it on day one. I still haven't pre-ordered it, but I'm going to. My hopes for this game is the single player. Honestly, I don't really care for that much. I'm gonna play it and I hope it's great. But for me, I think the potential in this game is the competitive play of the multiplayer. Games that I love to play are ones where I can really play competitively. Like one of my favorite games is Rainbow Six Siege, which is like a 5v5 game, and there's a lot of strategizing, and you really does involve teamwork, and it's always good to have a squad of 5. And with this game, like I hope it has that same feel where like I just sit down for a few hours, have some snacks, sit like a foot away from my monitor, and like just plan out some strategies on how we want to win this game and how we want to make our levels higher. So if that is going to be in the game, then that gets me really excited, and I have hopes that this game will do that. So yeah, if that's going to be in it, I'll be really excited. But we'll see. But right now, since I don't know exactly what the game's going to be, I would not say I'm excited, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I have no negative feelings towards this game. Like, I'm glad they're doing different types of games. I would be disappointed if they only made games like Battlefront. So just these new types of games I'm excited for, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Well, Lunga, you're the one who is a lot more excited for this game than I think Goldman is at the moment. So how do you feel about Star Wars Squadrons as it stands right now?
Honestly, I know people are gonna hate me for this because people think it's a Battlefront DLC. It's that. So what? It's just a flight simulator. Who cares? I have not been this excited about a Star. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order. I was pretty stoked when it was about to come out, but this, it really has me excited. It does. I'm
jealous. I wish I was excited.
Just, I mean, for me, it's the multiplayer aspect. You can play with other fans that just love Star Wars, and you could talk crap to each other and fly around and shoot at each other, and it's like, the way people are with Overwatch and Call of Duty. But dude, we're doing Star Wars. I know Battlefront was technically the same thing, but it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Not the same.
This is squads. You can get your squad up going against other people. And that's.
I hope there's like some sort of like game chat aspect where you can talk to your squadron if you're not like with them originally. Like if the three of us were playing, if the three of us were gonna play, like we could talk to the two random people that we would meet, or even like if there's a lobby, we can trash talk.
Well, there is a lot. They did say it. I know for sure in between matches or before matches when they show you standing around at holodeck talking about things, that's your lobby, and you actually are talking to each other.
Okay, that makes me excited because I may be young, but I was old enough to play the old Call of Duties back in the day when people would trash talk each other in game chat all the time. Yeah. And I miss that. Yeah, especially MW2. I miss that. And it's probably not going to be exactly the same here because, you only have 5v5. But like I do miss that. And I hope there is that aspect of communication and being able to trash talk the other team. So I am looking forward to that.
Likewise, one thing I've noticed is that I'm kind of excited for both games. Honestly, I don't really I mean, I guess I do have a favorite, and that's going to be this next question here on what game are you more excited to play, Star Wars Squadrons or Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? And also, if you're in the chat, go ahead and leave which one you prefer as well, because it'll be interesting to see where the demand goes and which one does more sales. Lunga, I think we already know the answer to yours, but which one are you more excited to play, Squadrons or Lego Star Wars?
Squadrons. I can't even say. It's silly for me to say I'm more excited to play it because I'm not going to play Lego Star Wars. Period.
Oh, okay. There's your answer. There's your answer.
Yeah, it's like, and I know I sound like a hater, but I mean, like, I watch the Lego movies. The Lego movies are fun. Just for a game, it's like I'm playing something that I really like, but they're funny little Lego creatures instead of the same things. So it's like, I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. That's why I don't play Minecraft anymore myself. Yeah. I guess I kind of grew out of it. Goldman, I feel like I also know the answer for you, but which game are you more excited for, Squadrons or Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga?
I'd say right now, Lego Star Wars, just because I know what I'm getting. But I think the potential for Squadrons is much higher. So my excitement for what that potential could be is much higher than my excitement for Lego Star Wars. But right now, I would say Lego Star Wars. Did that make sense?
Yes, it did. And I'm kind of in the same boat where I am excited for Squadrons, but I'm a little bit more excited for Lego Star Wars at the moment just because of the nostalgic aspect of it. And it's covering all 9 films. I feel like Lego Star Wars has a more genre-specific aspect to it, and I like the aesthetic. I like the way the game looks, and so far how it feels, and being able to go to any part of the movies and replay the movies in that sense. Where Squadrons, it's a unique concept, but it really is just space combat for Star Wars. So it does have that unique appeal to it.
So in this case, the member berries are okay.
Yes, member berries are okay when it comes to games. Member berries are not okay when it comes to story plot lines that we've been waiting on for countless years. The next, speaking of member berries, I think we all remember our favorite president of Lucasfilm ever, Kathleen Kennedy, and we're gonna talk about what she did in a recent interview that she gave. Yeah. I saw a little bit of your screen on this topic, Lunga. Basically, Kathleen Kennedy was speaking about the future of the Star Wars franchise, and here's the quote that has been catching the most attention. She says, and I quote, "And now we're stepping back. Stories have been told within this universe over the last 40-odd years, and there's now the realization that this is the mythology that actually about 25,000 years. When you really look at it, when you really look at all the different stories that have been told, whether it's in the books or games, we just need the time to step back and really absorb what George has created and then start to think about where things might go." That's what we've been doing. We've been having a great deal of fun doing it. I'll give this question first to you, Goldman, just to infuriate Lunga a little bit more about this. What do you think Lucasfilm is trying to do when they say they are going to absorb the universe that George Lucas created?
It's a weird question because she talked about how the universe spans all these years, but actually, hopefully you guys can answer this. How involved was Lucas with the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic?
Hardly at all.
Yeah, so like that's not really his Star Wars, if you get what I'm saying. So, but what do I think about Lucasfilm? I honestly don't know exactly what she means. Honestly, my only thoughts about this quote is how it definitely is going to trigger people who can be like, "Oh, why didn't you try to absorb what George Lucas created before you made the sequels?" Which is probably the thoughts.
You're dancing.
Which I understand that. Now again, I love the sequels, but I understand that probably a majority of people don't. So a quote like this is just going to infuriate most people, which is why I think Lunga is more equipped to answer it. So I'll pass it off to him.
Yep. Lunga, what do you think about Lucasfilm trying to quote unquote absorb what George Lucas created?
How are you on certain language in this channel? Is the B word appropriate to you? Can we use the B word? Is that okay on this channel?
But by all means, I mean, we're already in
this bitch. This bitch. Listen. Okay, I am not one of those angry boomer Star Wars fans. Okay, I didn't like what was going on, but I'm like, you know what, Kathleen Kennedy has. I have been apologetic for this woman. You know what, she does have a good career. She's been around. She knows her shit. She does this. She does that. You know, she maybe she's not great for Star Wars, but let's not blame it on her. I don't want to. She knows what she's doing. She's been in Hollywood for a long time. And then this bitch says, "Oh, we just realized there's a mythology."
You know what this reminds me of? When she had that quote. She had that quote where she's like, "There's no expanded material for us to."
I defended her on that.
Hold on.
Yeah. I defended her on that.
It's like I wish you watched what she said.
Yeah, she needs to have I don't know, maybe a publicist a little bit more for these things. When she was saying the source material, everyone was like, "Oh, but the expanded universe." She was talking about source material from George Lucas.
Yeah.
But also doesn't really work either because he did give them outlines for what to do with 7, 8, and 9. So that's kind of ironic. I'll give this one to you, Lunga, on this next question about this topic. Do you think that this means that Lucasfilm will start looking at the expanded universe more?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's they're realizing they're trying to say, our bad. That's what they're trying to say now. Okay. But what worries me more, because the only thing that kept me somewhat okay, and here's I actually have a theory about this too, because I talked about this. The only thing that kept me going okay was I really think she's gonna be retiring soon. This does not sound like someone who's retiring. Okay,
I agree.
It does not sound like someone who's retiring. On top of that, this is what I said. And remember how we all discounted? We said, "Oh, the Civil War shit, it's nonsense. It's not true." Now I still believe it's not true. But you know how they always say when there's a rumor, there's usually some nugget that starts it. Even if
when
it's
there's
not
smoke, there's fire.
Right. This is what I think. In a professional matter of working together, I think Favreau and Filoni sat down with Kathleen Kennedy and said, listen, we really need to go a different direction with this. This is not, it's not working. You got the fans are not happy with it, and we know how to do this to get them happy. And she said, all right, take it, do it. And they did it. Okay, so the bullshit of her not being allowed backstage and like Favreau just like created his own shadow company and just made his own show and she had nothing to do with it is bullshit. But I do think there was a conversation and they kind of woke her up on it. And this line feels like she's repeating what she heard. Like I could see Filoni sitting in the room with her going, Kathleen, there's about 25,000 years of like history with this. And she's like, really?
25,000. That's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I kind of sympathize with her because it feels like it almost feels like your mom trying to get into the Star Wars universe in some sense. Yep. Where she's like, oh, I love Star Wars. I love all the 6 films. And you're like, well, Mom, there's actually like 11 now. Oh, that's cool. I love Solo. I love Rogue One. And then there's the realization that there's the expanded universe, and she's like, 25,000 years, you say? Okay, well, why don't they explore that? And it's like, funny you should ask
about
that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
it really feels like she thought if she just slaps Star Wars on it, it'll just sell.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. It's like, those silly nerds. It's Star Wars. They're going to buy it.
And to one point, she is right. Before we get back into the kind of Kathleen Kennedy question, the next one will be about the Kenobi series. I actually want to answer this question from David Salgado. Have you guys actually seen George Lucas's first directed and written movie, THX 1138?
Nope.
I've heard you talk about it. I have not seen it.
I have seen it. I do recommend it if you are considered yourself a Lucas fanatic. Will I say it's good? Yeah, if you're into film. If you're really looking for like a thought-provoking film, though, this may not be it. But it is a good film that I recommend checking out. But I would not be surprised that most Star Wars fans and people in general have not seen it. But on to the Kathleen Kennedy interview that she recently gave. One thing she did talk about was the Kenobi series, and she seemingly confirmed in this interview that the Kenobi series will be a limited series. And I know that kind of disappoints some fans, but this means that it may only be one season, and reports are indicating that this will be 4 to 6 episodes for that season. Goldman, I'll give this question to you first. Is a limited Kenobi series a good idea, or should they have done more than one season?
I like the limited series. I don't think every show needs to be 5 seasons long. There are plenty of shows out there that are just one season, a few episodes that are very good. And also, there's another thing I want to say about the Kenobi series, because when this information came out, a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people are ungrateful with the Kenobi series. They're like, there's rumors that it's going to be 4 episodes. They're like, oh, if there's going to be 4 episodes, they better be like 2 hours long each, or there better be more than 4 episodes. People are so ungrateful. Just the thought of having Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan 10 years ago would be insane. So we're basically getting like one movie here with Obi-Wan, and that makes me so happy. Would I like it to be really long? Of course. But I'm just so happy that we're getting him back. And I just wish more people were more grateful about it. So yeah, if it's going to be one season, I'm grateful that that's happening, and I'm still going to be really excited about it.
That's a good point. Some people would argue quality over quantity instead of quantity over quality. Lunga, what are your thoughts? Are you okay with?
Yeah, I completely agree. I would have been disappointed if they said it wasn't a limited series, because I'd be like, oh, geez, they're going to stretch this thing out. We got The Hobbit all over again here.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
Right. So, no, I'm glad they said it's limited. It's like, cool, listen, this is one of those, it's a long movie, right? Give us 4 hours. Of 4 to 6 hours of Kenobi to fill this time period, finish up his arc in his life for things that we didn't necessarily see, and get to see Ewan again and move on. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, well, in a lot of sense, this is a fan pleasing and kind of a fan service move. They've been trying to do this since I would think 2015, maybe even 2014.
Probably. Yeah.
Because Ewan McGregor said himself that this has been in the work for 4 to 5 years, and there have been so many reports on it being a spin-off film. Then Solo Star Wars story flopped in the box office, and they realized they had this new platform, Disney Plus, to possibly do this on. So this has a lot of potential for success. I'm a little nervous that it may not be what fans exactly wanted from it. Then again, it's also the question of, well, we wanted Ewan McGregor back, and we got him, so that's plenty fine. I do have to ask, though, in a story sense, though, can a limited series be enough for the story of Kenobi? And I'll give this to you first, Lunga.
Yeah, it can. I mean, we're covering that time period on Tatooine, right? And you know, if you take out the first couple of years after Revenge of the Sith and the first couple of years before The New Hope, we got about what, 14 years or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we'd be silly to think that it was 14 years of action-packed nonsense going on with Obi-Wan. Okay, we know that's not the case. He was the old hermit as far as Luke knew growing up, so it was limited action here and there. Things were happening here and there, and that's probably about it. So I don't, you know, this is all we really need. This is all we need. You know, I mean, we got the full scope of him in the prequels. You know, we got some more filler from him in the Clone Wars animated show. You know, and then we got, you know, Alex Guinness in the sequel trilogy, or the original trilogy. So I think, you know, we can get a good chunk of story here for him that'll tie those two eras together, and you know, give us our fill and say goodbye to Kenobi.
That's a very good point. And this next one will be for you, Goldman. What do you think about it being a limited series in terms of the story? Do you think it's going to be enough for Star Wars fans?
I definitely think so. Again, this story, I believe, was originally going to be just one movie. I mean, people mention trilogies, but I think the story works best as one movie. Because when you look at the story of Obi-Wan, I think it's important that he doesn't do that much in between episodes 3 and 4, because his whole story with that time period is him with Luke, and he's making a sacrifice. He is basically not wasting his life away, but spending the last years of his life making sure that Luke is safe and that he's going to be raised properly. He's making a sacrifice. And if he's spending a lot of this time leaving Tatooine and going on these adventures, then it kind of takes away from that ideology that he has, that he needs to stay with Luke. So I think if there's one, not really adventure, because I feel like a lot of what's going to happen in this series is going to be him coming to terms with what happened in episode 3. So I think that's the most interesting story to tell. And then at the end, and then at the end, he'll come to terms with his role and how important it is that he stays with Luke. And once that happens, I think that's the journey that he'll go through with the story. So I think one season, a limited series, is perfect to tell that kind of story, because you don't need 3 or more seasons to tell that story. So I think this show is perfect for one season.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one season is going to be good for a lot of fans. It's going to satisfy a lot of us. I am excited to see a lot of the memes that come out about this show, because of all the memes we've gotten with Ewan McGregor in general, and the whole hello there and all the high ground stuff. Another interesting tidbit of news, though, about this show came from those guys at the Kessel Run Transmission podcast. They recently gave a scoop saying that the plot of the Kenobi series will revolve around Darth Vader sending Commander Cody and the 212th Battalion after Obi-Wan, and that the show will heavily revolve around flashbacks to the Clone Wars era, with Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin and wearing the Clone Wars armor. Lunga, I'll give this question to you. What are your thoughts on the rumored plot details for the Kenobi series?
Here's the thing. I think they're getting their sources, if they're true. Okay. We know about the Hayden thing, and LRM has talked about Hayden Christensen coming back as well. And it's going to be important to the story as it goes along. But anytime you throw the word heavily in there, which I'm going to tell you right now, that is probably something they don't know yet. They don't know how much it. So when you throw that word in there, to me, it feels like it's creating a narrative. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good point.
It's creating a narrative. We don't know how heavy it is. Okay, we don't know if it's heavy cream or just tan my coffee. You know, it can be a little bit different. But I think it's what happened with Anakin let's be fair. And so even when how we see Kenobi in A New Hope, this has been a ghost for him. It's been a ghost for him in his entire time, and it's been a burden on his back the entire time that he's been on Tatooine. And not only is Anakin a ghost, he's also a reality as Darth Vader. You know what I mean? It's like the ghost of his friend and the reality of the nemesis. So it's an important part, and I guarantee you it's going to be an important part to his development from the Obi-Wan at the end of the Revenge of the Sith to the Obi-Wan we see in A New Hope. It's going to play into it, and it's going to play into his growth as he gets into old age on Tatooine. This also, I was kind of talking about this beforehand too. I have another theory, and I don't think people have thought about this yet, because we did get big introductions, in animated series and the games about the Inquisitors. And the Inquisitors are dark side users that Darth Vader sent out on various missions. One was to hunt Darth Maul. We also know that the Inquisitors, along with, now we're finding out if you're using the clone troopers, Cody, that there was a long hunt for Jedi long after Revenge of the Sith to get them all down. So I even think there can be some Inquisitor roles, because Giancarlo Esposito, when they were asking him some questions about the Emmys, he mentioned how that his character Moff Gideon could actually have force powers, that he could have some force sensitivity, and to me, and he's in the Darksaber. So I'm trying to put all these little threads together. I'm thinking maybe he was an Inquisitor. You know what I mean? And there's live action potential with this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Inquisitor show up in this Kenobi show.
I think it would help the lightsaber battle aspect of the show too. I mean, there's something to seeing Kenobi use his lightsaber. I mean, one of the things that I was really upset with Rebels was kind of wasting the potential of having Darth Maul come back in this series and having that kind of one final live action battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. And at the time, before the scandal happened, I really wanted to see Ewan McGregor and Ray Park go at it like they did back in The Phantom Menace in 1999, because of how iconic and honestly probably the best choreographed Star Wars lightsaber battle that we've had to date. So I was really excited to see that. And I think having an Inquisitor in there probably would fill that hole. And yeah, bringing in Moff Gideon, because this show is coming out in 2022. At least that's the scheduled release date for now. I highly doubt it'll be delayed again. But that means, in my opinion, that after probably season 3 comes out and maybe 2022 as well, maybe we could get that battle and see Moff Gideon, because then a lot of people would be familiar with that character. And that actually would be something to really promote it in a way that I think would help the series a lot. Goldman, what do you think about these rumored plot details for the Kenobi series?
To branch off what you said about Anakin, I don't mind if he's heavily involved, if a large portion of the show takes place during flashbacks, because I could see maybe a big part of the show is there's a flashback between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they do something, and it somehow ties into Obi-Wan doing something similar, but now he's on his own. I don't want Vader showing up, because even if he meets Obi-Wan, then you are going to have to answer a lot of questions, which would be, does Vader now think Obi-Wan is dead after their new encounter? If he doesn't, I don't believe that Vader would stop searching for him. There's no way that Vader would somewhat forgive Obi-Wan at all. So I don't want to see Vader. I mean, he could show up, but he definitely shouldn't interact with Obi-Wan. When it comes to the Inquisitor stuff, I really like that idea. But I don't think it would be Moff Gideon, because for one, Inquisitors never hide their rank. Like, they're Inquisitors. So an Inquisitor becoming a Moff is a little weird to me. And another thing is, since Moff Gideon is alive during The Mandalorian, which takes place after the original trilogy, if he's going to show up in the Obi-Wan series and fight Obi-Wan, he has to survive. And if he survives and he fights Obi-Wan, does he keep Obi-Wan's identity a secret? Does he not tell anyone? Why didn't he tell Vader about Obi-Wan if he's an Inquisitor? Because the Inquisitors do report to Vader. So I don't think Moff Gideon will be involved. Lunga, you look like you disagree. Why?
Yeah, because if you notice everything we've seen about Moff Gideon, he seems to be someone who wants to hold on to his own power.
That's true, but with the lore of the Inquisitors, they're terrified of Darth Vader. Like, I don't feel like they have any remote power over him. If you look at the end of Fallen Order, the second sister won't even look at him. That's how scared she is of him. A lot of the lore
could have became a Moff at the fall of the Empire.
Yeah, that's what I was going to make a point to. This takes place after Episode 6, at least the Mandalorian series does. So the big thing is, the big thing with that has been the Empire trying to keep and maintain some sort of control, and so I could see that potentially being outlined.
What I'm saying is, during the time of the Obi-Wan series, I just don't think that any Inquisitor would keep that information from Vader a secret. I can see an Inquisitors reviving and then after the fall of the Empire taking more of a powerful role that happens throughout history. I just don't see how during this time period how someone could, especially an Inquisitor, would find Obi-Wan and not report him to Vader. I just don't see that happening.
That's a fair point. Last question on this topic is Darth Vader's potential appearance in this series. Goldman, what do you think about Vader? Should he appear in this Kenobi series?
No. The only way I could genuinely like a Vader appearance is if Obi-Wan maybe sees a hologram or like a broadcast of Vader, or he somehow learns that Anakin survived, because it's not entirely clear if he thinks Anakin survived at the end of Episode 3. So maybe at some point, if he finds out that Anakin is now this man in a black suit, that I could like. And I don't mind Anakin having a big role as long as it's with the flashbacks. But I don't want Darth Vader in the present having a big role in the series at all.
That's a good point. Lunga, what do you think? Should Vader appear in this series?
I'm okay with him appearing if it's limited and it's playing that storyline of Commander Cody or the other people, or if there's Inquisitors reporting back to him saying, hey, we're looking, we're finding, but there cannot be any face-to-face between him and Obi-Wan, obviously. Okay. That cannot happen. And there cannot be anyone, to your point when you were talking about if Moff Gideon is an Inquisitor and he found him, how could he not have? There cannot be anyone that goes back to Vader and says, we found Kenobi. That I don't think should happen, because that would completely destroy the first act of A New Hope if they did that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I would hope if they do show Vader or just have anything story-wise to deal with him, would simply be maybe one scene of him telling Commander Cody to go hunt down Obi-Wan, or not even to go hunt down Obi-Wan, just go hunt down the Jedi, and then happens to include Obi-Wan. And then maybe if Commander Cody tells Obi-Wan, I have these direct orders from Darth Vader, it's kind of mentioned offhandedly, and Cody doesn't know that Obi-Wan, or even that he doesn't know that Obi-Wan knows who Darth Vader is, and he also doesn't know who Darth Vader is himself, that Darth Vader is Anakin. So maybe hearing the name Darth Vader, Kenobi gets those flashbacks from Empire Strikes Back when he knows that Anakin turned into Darth Vader, and that's kind of how he finds out. But I don't know. I think it's a little bit of the case of member berries, where I'm not really excited to see Vader, because I feel like Vader always takes the spotlight in these kind of shows. But speaking of shows,
think about the Clone Wars though. When he found that when at the end of Clone Wars with the Ahsoka deal, and he comes back as Darth Vader, and he knows Ahsoka's out there. Like those little ones, those little emotional things, those little emotional beats with him as Darth Vader work, as long as they're just those quick emotional beats.
I don't think that same scene would work with Obi-Wan though, because he didn't feel betrayed by Ahsoka really, but he felt Obi-Wan betrayed him. So I think if there's any hint that Obi-Wan would be alive, that he would not give up until he found him. That's
and something I don't think he did give up. I really feel, even from A New Hope, I really feel, even though he had no proof, Anakin felt through the Force, he felt he is out there. I know he's out there, because there was never any confirmation he was dead. They took out all these Jedi, but there was never any confirmation that Obi-Wan was dead. And I think he believed, knowing his wily old master, that he is still out there somewhere. And I think to him, he was probably obsessed with finding him, just like Maul was kind of obsessed with finding him.
That's a good point. But we never really see, I mean, again, this is just me being that lore guy. We never really see Vader, do any type of hunting for Obi-Wan. Now you can say how you're gonna find one person in the whole galaxy, but
what was
especially on your home planet.
Words to Obi-Wan, the ultimate scene of Revenge of the Sith.
What do you say? I hate you. I mean,
I mean, that is not something you forget the next day. Yeah, I'm over it.
I don't think he's over it, but I don't think he's actively searching for Obi-Wan at any point. It might, but
he's actively searching for every Jedi.
Yeah,
sure. We'll see.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, we'll probably get more information about that story in the new show. Last bit of news for the shows, and coming from the same source, the Kessel Run Transmission guys, is that they are saying that there are a movement kind of over there at Lucasfilm, that there's a reported Ben Solo series or even movie in the works at Lucasfilm. Another scooper, Jordan Mason, who's a lot more credible in my opinion, said the story will take place before The Force Awakens, and that Lucasfilm knows how popular the character Ben Solo has become in the Star Wars fandom. And they also want to continue to explore that story in either an animated or a live action series. Lunga, should we explore Ben Solo's story pre The Force Awakens?
While I like it, I mean, especially the stuff that was going on in the comic books, it's pretty intriguing. I think this is not going to work because, and I'm going to be, and this is going to, people may slam for this, but this is the god awful truth. The people who absolutely adore Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, adore Adam Driver, and anyone else playing him, a younger version of him, it's going to be like the young Indiana Jones Chronicles, right? It's going to be like Solo. No one's going to care. It's going to be, if animated, it's going to be okay. You know, I mean, that's about it. But live action, forget it. A good majority of the lovers of Kylo Ren, if it's not Adam Driver playing for him, it's just, and then it's going to be funny because these are probably the same people as saying, so what if it's not Harrison Ford? We love Solo, but then to get a younger person playing him, they're going to be like, that's not Adam Driver. It's not right.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, and I agree with you. I think if they don't bring Adam Driver back, if it's an animated series, maybe bringing him as a voice actor would work, but if it's live action and they go for like a younger person to play young Ben Solo, since it's pre The Force Awakens, I can see a lot of negativity surrounding this. Goldman, what do you think? Should we explore Ben Solo's story pre The Force Awakens?
I haven't thought about this in a while, and I'm a little annoyed because okay, I'm someone who loves the sequels, and I love this character a lot. Now, I'm in the minority of the people that Lunga talked about. I don't need Adam Driver to be Ben Solo, if in an animated sense. Like, I have no problem with a character portraying Ben Solo, like a different voice actor, or even if we have a much younger version, I wouldn't mind a new actor. But this infuriates me because if Lucasfilm knows the popularity of Ben Solo, why the hell did you kill him off? His death was not essential to the rise of Skywalker at all. They could have easily, I like the mask. They could have easily rewritten it so maybe Rey didn't die. Kylo Ren crawls up the pit. They kiss. He leaves, and there's such a good story of him like making amends for everything he did. It's such a cop-out. I'm venting now, but it's such a cop-out that he just dies and he's redeemed. I feel like it's such an interesting story and it'd be so unique if there was a story of him making an attempt to right his wrongs instead of just saving one person's life, like earning the trust of the Resistance, going through a story where he just... And it just gets me frustrated.
Lunga's got the mask going, and Goldman, I have to say, it's kind of bold of you to assume that Lucasfilm would ever actually want to have an interesting arc about a character, because, I mean, let's be honest, Ben Solo was the most interesting character, and Kylo Ren was the most interesting character out of the sequel trilogy, and he literally and metaphorically was used as a stepping stone for Rey and the rise of Skywalker. Lunga, you seem a little passionate about this Ben Solo topic. What do you have to say?
I mean, I'm one of the people too, even though I was not particularly pleased with the sequel trilogy. He was the bright spot for me. You know, I mean, he was a very dynamic character. There was a lot of emotional resonance with him. Adam Driver played it spectacularly. Any scenes with him, and I will argue that he lifted up Daisy Ridley's in their scenes together. You know what I mean? That made him more spectacular.
Very much.
And then they killed him. Now, to be honest with you, when it started, I kind of felt this was going to happen anyway. They killed, Darth Vader died. I figured that was going to happen with him. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to go down. But yeah, dude, no one. How long did we wait to see Anakin's story?
16 years.
Yeah, 16. Because
I don't need a young Kylo Ren when Adam Driver still looks the same as he did when he played him. I don't need a young Kylo Ren story. Maybe 20 years from now, 15 years from now. Okay. When suddenly people like these movies because they get nostalgic and suddenly they love them. Maybe then. But now, no, we don't need this now. And like I said, they're already doing it, and they have the comic books with him and Luke as a Padawan. He was, we're getting a little tidbits there, and that's cool to see. But now we don't need any. Can
I say one more thing before we move topics? Because I didn't really answer the question. I just vented about why this frustrates me, but with an actual story about Ben Solo before The Force Awakens, it depends. I don't think there should be a story solely devoted to Ben Solo because I feel like we kind of already know what happens. But I think a story maybe with Luke and his academy and where Ben Solo is a big part of it, then yeah, I'd be down for that. I definitely would love to see more Ben Solo or even Kylo Ren before The Force Awakens. I just don't think there should be a whole series devoted to Ben Solo. That's my thoughts on pre-Force Awakens Ben Solo.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's a lot of demand for Ben Solo, and I feel like this is kind of Lucasfilm shooting themselves in the foot of after they killed off Han Solo in The Force Awakens, they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing a spin-off series about him with a young actor. And it's like, well, why'd you kill him off then? And then it's the same thing with this where he dies and they realize, oh, there's actually a lot more people who like Ben Solo than they do like Rey, and that's no offense to Rey, it's just, in my opinion, a statistical fact. But I have to ask... Huh? 20.
How about this? 20 years from now, because remember when Anakin died, when Darth Vader died, we got the whole burning bush deal. We had the scene with him, his body being burned, and all this stuff. With Ben Solo, we didn't get that. We saw him like pass out in her arms, and then that's it. We don't see nothing.
Yeah,
right.
No ceremony.
No ceremony. We don't see nothing. Okay. What if, let's say, she thought he was dead, but he doesn't die. But in his guilt, knowing that he, like someone mentioned, like he could never come back, he had to pull a Luke and go to Ahch-To. Let's say he leaves and he realizes he isolates himself to meditate because he realized he has to pay for penance for his life. And 20 years from now, he comes. People find him, and he's reluctantly drawn into another conflict and has to be the good guy. That I could see. That I could be into, but like way down the line, buddy. Like 15 years.
He disappeared.
We don't know. Listen.
It's the Force.
Like
the Emperor fell down a hole, dude.
Yeah. That Emperor point is a very good one.
Fair, but it's I don't know. It's a whole thing with the light side of the Force that you accept death. That being a Force ghost is just the next part of life, and I will always stand by this. And Darth Maul is literally the only exception in the history of film ever. But I hate when characters come back to life after heavily implied deaths. So even if it's one of my favorite characters ever.
But how implied was his death? He kind of just passed out.
He disappeared. Every
like
other character we've seen disappear is dead.
Yeah, but it was a very dubious death.
It is heavily implied.
He laid hands on her, kissed her, and then went poof. What if it was the Force projection? What if it was the Force projection the whole time?
Well, now
yeah, when it's Ben Solo, Force projection is when it's Luke, this was fabulous.
One thing. If they did do that story, and Ben Solo did go into exile for 20 years, and he didn't tell Rey about it, Imagine how pissed the Raylos would be.
He's like, fuck Ray.
Oh yeah.
I just
think anyway.
I think the people that love his character the most would hate that. And I don't like that story either. But
well, good. Then you youngins can feel what we felt when these movies came out.
A little bit of a poetic justice there.
Yes.
Last question about this topic, though, of the potential Ben Solo series, since we've been talking about it pre The Force Awakens, and maybe even post The Force Awakens. Should this be live action or animated? Then I'll give this to you first, Goldman.
Animated. I mean, yeah, you can't do a live.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but someone in the chat is losing their mind. Dev, I mentioned Chadwick Boseman dying at the very opening of the show, and we did talk about it, and we took some time to give our respects and talk about what happened. So we do care, and we did talk about it. So
yeah, we've put it in the chat. We've talked about how tragic it is. Maybe you should actually show up on time for the stream. Right. Harp on us for not talking about something we've already talked about. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I don't appreciate all the credit he got for the Black Panther when I think he did far better as Jackie Robinson in the movie 42. That was one of my favorite baseball movies of all time. He is a phenomenal actor, and he will be surely missed. And I condolences to his family. What an awful way to go, and what a brave way to go by spending 4 years fighting that and not publicly making that a big deal.
And quiet, because apparently no one knew about it. So
yeah. The representative had to bring that out. So Lunga, last question for the Ben Solo series, the last thing we'll talk about before we move on to our last topic. Do you think it should be live action or animated?
Neither, but if you're putting a lightsaber to my head and forcing me to make a decision, I would say animated, because that's more I can excuse that away enough, because we all fall back anytime somebody don't like, we fall back and say, it was just animated series.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So on the last topic for the day, a new Star Wars holiday special has been announced, and it will release on November 17th of this year. But this time, it will be a Lego animation. The story sets place after Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and sees the cast celebrating Life Day again. Lunga, after the 1978 holiday special, what are your thoughts on this new one that will be Lego?
Well, what I'm learning here is apparently is the movie coming out in 2023, Taika Waititi, it's going to be a Lego movie. The movie coming out in 2025 is a Lego movie. Is there anything not Lego we can discuss here today? No, it's a Lego. Again, I mean, how much more Lego do we need?
Legos.
It's not that I. Well, listen, man. If when you're a parent and you step on Legos enough, you will hate Legos as much as I do. Trust me. But no, it's like, I don't know. It's the holiday special. I mean, George Lucas didn't even really want to acknowledge the first one. Let alone this one. I mean, nowadays I would say, you know what? It'll be Lego. The kids, it'll be cute. They'll love it. You know what I mean? It'll be fun. So I'm not going to say don't make it, because you know what? Younger people, kids and stuff, they'll love it. They'll eat it up.
Mm-hmm. All right, Goldman, what are your thoughts on this holiday special celebrating Life Day yet again?
Again, I'm probably more excited for this than I should be. It's definitely not going to be canon based on the story details, because it's basically Rey going back in time and like talking to a lot of previous characters. So there's no way this is canon, which I'm actually glad for. And as someone who really likes Rey's character, I know that's a very unpopular thing to say, but I really like her character. Even if it's something like this, I'm just glad I'm getting another story with her. Now, I don't even know if it's Daisy Ridley who's going to voice it, and I really don't care. I just want to see this character again in some way. So even if it's something like this, I'll take it. I'm going to be grateful that I'm getting the sequel cast back in some way. So I'm happy for it.
I just have one comment on this picture. Mm-hmm. What are they thinking with Rose Tico having that shirt zippered down that far?
Oh
boy, I don't know. Would it be sexist of me to comment on Kelly Marie Tran as a woman or something?
Rose Tico does not have. It has never been unzippered that far. That is wrong, buddy. Wrong. Factually incorrect.
Well, maybe she can be like the AT&T girl, where like it's a surprise to everybody, and it becomes like a big controversy for like a months on end, and a bunch of creeps on the internet make it uncomfortable for everyone, even though this is going to be Lego. Last question though about this, and just kind of last question that we have. for the day. Are you guys actually going to be watching this? Will you be watching the new holiday special on November 17th when it comes out? Lunga, I'll give this one to you first, since you, sadly don't like Legos.
Yeah, sure. I'll be watching it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll be watching it right along with everybody else. Okay.
I mean, it seems like a
Did
good.
you notice that last issue, by the way, that Darth Maul had no legs and it was just his torso on the ground?
Now that's funny. Yeah,
that's actually funny. Put that picture back up.
Yeah, you see.
See, this is the quality humor you get from the holiday special.
So that's funny. I'll give it that. That's hilarious right there. That's quality.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's pretty good on the Lego humor that is pretty typical with that brand. Goldman, last question for the night: will you be watching the new holiday special?
Of course, I will be, and I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see where it goes and how it does. I know Jon Favreau said he wanted to do a holiday special. I don't think this is going to be it, but I mean, it's as close as we get. Someone says there's 3 Kenobis in this picture.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, wow.
In front and behind of Mace Windu. That's 2 Kenobis right there.
Huh. I don't see the third. It might be in the background.
I don't see the third one. Oh, the one right behind. That's young Kenobi.
Jeez, wow, they're changing. This definitely won't be canon, but that's kind of a.
And Han Solo's also there.
Because he's a Jedi, apparently.
And there's this random Sith trooper that was definitely not around in the prequels. Here as well.
Yeah. We got a bunch of First Order stormtroopers there, so yeah, it's gonna be time bending.
Yeah, is that like a young Anakin on the far right? On the bad guy side.
Next to Greedo.
Oh, Greedo. Oh, jeez. All right, yeah. So they're going all out with this, and I can convince them.
Who's the short guy behind Han Solo's gun?
Yeah,
that actually might be Phantom Menace Anakin, just based off his outfit.
Oh, the goggles! I see him, the pod racing goggles.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I needed to see for the Lego movie. I'm glad. I'm glad this is happening. Is there any closing comments you guys have for our viewers here on Chatooine?
It's glad to be back. It's been a month almost.
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. Yeah. So it's definitely glad to be back.
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, we know we guys we were having a good fun for a while. Then life got busy, like all of us at the same time.
Yeah.
So I did get kind of crazy, but I do have something I want to share for if anyone likes comic books out there. I know this is a Star Wars show, but guys, I actually am a comic book creator as well. I'm a novelist. I did a novel last year, and I have a comic book up on Kickstarter. It's kind of a mashup between Lovecraftian horror and superheroes. I kind of put those genres together. I think Silver Surfer meets Lovecraft meets Constantine. So there's like 19 days left on the campaign. And we're about almost 50% to the goal. So if you guys like comic books and want to support independent comic creators, please give it a look, back it if you can, or share it. At least share it with friends if they do like comic books as well. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and you're close to your goal, right, for the Kickstarter campaign.
It's a $4,500 goal, and we're at 2,000, so I'm about 45%.
Oh, okay. I know. I've been following it on Twitter a lot, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I did buy your last book, Not Immortal. What was it called? This one's the Immortal Chance.
Souls of Magic's Done.
Magic's Done. Okay, there we go. For some reason I was thinking of Magic the Gathering for a small second. If you could make a book in that universe, I would commend you beyond relief, because that was a big part of my childhood. But that's all the time. Do what?
Might have a little copyright issues there.
Screw it. You can do an expanded universe book for Star Wars 2. Lucas will sign off on it if history is any indication. I think that's all the time we have today for Chatooine. Thank you for joining us here on Chatooine. Make sure you subscribe to Darth Daddy Lunga in the Goldmans channel, whose links are in the description below, and go support Lunga's new comic, Isadora and the Immortal Change. Thank you and for joining us. I can't wait to see you all again on Chatooine. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because it does help out our show. We will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.